Welcome to Flemington, New Jersey, one of the most unique short track ovals anywhere in the country. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. They've been racing here since 1916. 5 years ago, this dirt oval was paved, and now they run asphalt modifieds on a weekly basis. They call this place the Squared Circle. And Glenn Jarrett, you got to run some laps here in the SuperTruck this afternoon. What's it like out there?
I think I made a circled square out of it, Mike. We got in the Chevrolet promo truck today and ran about 15, 20 laps. It is totally one of the most unique, unusual racetracks I have ever driven on. I never could find a straightaway. If there's one out there, it certainly didn't show itself to me. You're constantly in a turn, you're turning all the time, and you're on and off the accelerator. It's unique, it's fun. There's a lot of room for the guys to get under one another as they got under me and passed me on by, but should be a very exciting race. You're out to the wall, back to the inside, back out to the wall. This is going to be fun.
There are 4 different straightaways here and 4 very sharp corners, but you drive the track just like a circle. It'll be a unique challenge for our SuperTruck drivers tonight under 80-degree skies and a beautiful evening for racing. Let's go to the starting grid. Randy Pemberton.
Well, thanks, Mike. You would think experience would play a role in getting around this tight little tough racetrack, and it probably will. On the pole in a Ford is Mac Tools Ford Joe Ruttman. Joe, you got a lot of experience in race cars, now race trucks, but what about experience on a track like this?
I have to admit, it's a unique track. I've run a lot of racetracks, and it's a fun place, but it'll get you in a heartbeat. There's no doubt about it.
What about qualifying on the pole? How good is this truck?
We practiced real good, but didn't practice today real good. But if we can get the handle back, I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
Okay, good luck this evening. Like we said, Joe Ruttman on the pole. Track record, of course, 19.23 seconds for Ruttman. On the outside of row 1 is Bill Sedgwick, a guy that is known for taking care of his equipment, but he put the muscle in it in qualifying. You got her up there to second. What about it here tonight? Can you win?
Well, I'll tell you, this Spears team really put a good Chevy pickup together for me here today, and you know, there's a lot of tough Chevy trucks behind me. It's going to be a 150-lap race. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, good luck for you. Well, his best finish so far this year is a second back in April at Bakersfield. Now let's go topside to Mike Joy and Glenn Jarrett, who will call the action this evening. Guys?
Thanks, Randy. Packed house here at Flemington, New Jersey. This race has been sold out 4 weeks, and they're looking forward to SuperTruck action. As I know you are, we'll be right back.
Oh, it's special.
By All Pro Bumper to Bumper, the auto parts specialist. And by Chevy Truck, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
They have fired engines here at Flemington, New Jersey. Here's tonight's starting lineup, brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. On the pole, Joe Ruttman, 115-mile-an-hour lap in his Ford, first pole of the year. Bill Sedgwick, former Winston West champ, starts right alongside. Ron Hornaday Jr., the former Southwest Tour champion of NASCAR, and Scott Lagasse, the former SCCA road race champ, qualifies fourth. The High Plains drifter Rick Corelli, another Southwest Tour champion, and Jack Sprague, he's in a Rick Hendrick truck starting tonight. That's row 3. Row number 4, Mike Skinner, who leads the league in victories, and Dennis Setzer in the only Dodge in the field starts 8th. 9th, from the Northwest comes Toby Butler and the Southwest champ Steve Portengay. That's row number 5. Mike Bliss in a Ford, and Sammy Swindell, whose arms are tired after flying in from Knoxville to run here tonight. He'll go back there for our live show late this evening in the sprint car. Row 7, Kenny Allen in number 65, and Dave Resendiz driving the Jeff Bodine Ford. Back in row number 8, John Nemechek with new sponsorship on his number 87 Chevy truck, and the winner at Denver, Butch Miller in a Ford. Row number 9, Michael Dawkins back in the series from Florida, and Bob Strait driving his own Chevrolet. In row number 9, Jerry Glanville driving his own Ford, and that's Bob Brevack's Ford, 20th. Mike Chase replaces P.J. Jones. Mike, the defending Winston West champion, he's in the Die Hard number 1. And Jimmy Dick out of El Paso, Texas in his own Chevrolet. Row number 12, John Kinder, the youngster from California, and Frank Davis from the Legends Cars. He is now in a Ford truck. Finally, Kerry Teague, who spun on his qualifying lap and did not post a time. They are pushing Teague's truck through turn number 2, trying to get him fired and get him rolling, and we'll be ready to go. You're going to ride along in the fastest pizza delivery truck in the world, Ron Hornaday in the Papa John's Chevrolet, Ron Hornaday Jr. There's a look over his shoulder and out the back window, over the spoiler and the bed cover. And looking straight ahead over the hood of Hornaday's number 16 as the sun glistens down on the asphalt here at Flemington. And you'll get an idea just how tough it is to get around here. There's Ron Hornaday's dancing shoes. Got those black Simpsons ready to go to work. Gas brake, gas brake, gas brake. Mike Skinner, the GM Goodwrench Service Chevrolet of Richard Childress. Skinner, who leads the league, getting set to go to work. 6 victories. Phoenix, Portland, Odessa. Or rather, make that poll. Louisville, Milwaukee, and Indianapolis. And those are the views we'll show you from the Goodwrench Chevrolet. All right, Kerry Teague has coasted into the pit area. It's his first trip back since Topeka. Let's have a look at this racetrack. 1915 is when they built it. That is just about what it looks like from overhead. The track was paved in 1991 due to environmental concerns. Paul Cool, the promoter, decided to pave his racetrack rather than face regulation.
Hey, Mike,
on dirt.
Excuse me, Mike. You know, if I'd seen that diagram there before I went out, I might have made the race tonight.
Perhaps. One lap to go, and we'll go racing.
It was kind of fun seeing Hornaday use the footwork there, because I thought to myself when I first went out there, man, you got to keep one on the brake, one on the gas all times.
Well, the man who knows this place best sits alongside Doug Hoffman, has won 4 modified track championships and holds the track record here nearly 3 seconds a lap faster than the trucks qualified. What about getting around this circle?
Well, you were talking about the brake pedal. Actually, this racetrack, when these guys get comfortable, probably won't use the brake at all. The only time they'll use the brake is if there's a wreck in front of them, and hopefully they'll have all front brake in it, so the truck will just go straight.
Do you ever get the steering wheel completely straight here?
Never. You put the car in one position and you keep it there all the way around, and a lot of times you'll put the gas pedal in one position and it'll stay there all the way around. And this will be a true test of some of these guys' neck muscles. I hope they have headrests in, or they'll be tired.
So it's a momentum racetrack.
It's a momentum racetrack, and the centrifugal force will get you.
Let's get at it for the first 75-lap half of this 150-lap SuperTruck event. It is Ruttman on the brake. Hornaday inside makes the pass. Unbelievable. Ron Hornaday went right for it, dropped to the bottom, and he takes off.
Looks like Joe's truck maybe pushed out a little bit there coming off that corner. He just couldn't stand the gas like Hornaday did.
Randy.
Yeah, the deal is, guys, these tires are very, very hard here. Goodyear came with a tough, hard compound. Drivers told me before this race it takes a long time to heat these things up. So be very careful on restarts and green flags. And that's probably exactly what happened to Joe Ruttman. Car pushed up a little bit. Hornaday stuck it in there.
Yeah, I don't think Ron was listening to that admonishment. Hornaday's taken off with the lead. Doug, I'm a little surprised that on most of this track, how low they're running. They don't really get all the way out to the wall.
No, not really. And if, he got out front there, but if anybody's got a good handling race truck, they're going to get back up front. This is the type of racetrack where there's no single file racing. If you got a good truck, good handling race truck, you're going to get back to the front.
Look at how short these straightaways are. That is the backstretch, folks, from 2 to 3. And you just round it off into a circle. There's the short chute from 3 to 4. Sedgwick having a look inside Ruttman in that white number 76 Spears Manufacturing, 75 rather.
Truck number 24 there, Scott Lagacy. Of course, he's known for road racing, but that's on the gas, off the gas, on the brakes, on the brakes. This place was suited to him, his best qualifying effort of the year.
Lagacy started 4th in the DuPont number 24, Rick Corelli. Inside and turns Lagacy right around. And Lagacy gets into the fence and tests the styrofoam blocks here that line the corners at Flemington. Looks like he got just the end of the styrofoam and a lot of the steel Armco.
Boy, that's a real shame. He had a real good run going. He told me before the race he was just going to try to take it easy, maintain his position, not do anything wild or rash in the first half of the race, but Corelli definitely got into him.
Doug, tell us what these foam blocks, and you see just above the roof of that truck, there's some of the damage on the front of Scott Lagacy. How have the foam blocks changed racing here?
This is such a fast racetrack, and being all turn, when you get in trouble, you usually end up being sent right out into the wall. And this was probably the best thing they came up with since they paved this racetrack, and it saved probably a lot of injuries and saved a lot of damage to some of the race trucks and the race cars. They need to do something. It's such a fast racetrack.
Lagasse is okay, and you saw the foam blocks that line the corners here at Flemington, New Jersey. So Lagasse had his best start of the year, and it looks as if he has his worst finish. He is climbing out of the DuPont number 24 after contact with Rick Corelli.
The Stevens Beil Genuine Car Parts 150 on TNN is brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires.
Scott Lagasse talking things over, the former SCCA road race champ, out of his truck after this incident. Watch number 24.
Watch Lagasse get into the corner there. Going into 3, got just a little bit high. Corelli sneaks a look up under him. Then looks like he's going to back out, but no, they touch. And like Doug Hoffman told me while we were away there, you just can't touch here, can you, Doug?
No, not at all. And he started getting underneath him in that short strut there, and then that 4th turn wall kind of comes out, so it didn't leave much room for either one of them.
Different angle of the aftermath.
You can see Lagasse on the binders there trying to keep it off the wall, but it's so flat here, there's no banking to help slow the truck or to help turn the truck when it's in a spin there.
3rd angle.
Yeah, he's already sideways there.
Randy Pemberton is with Scott Lagasse.
Well, he's not thrilled, as you would imagine, Mike. Scott, what happened?
Well, we got up off the bottom maybe just a little bit there between 3 and 4. By no means enough for Rick to get through. And I guess, you know, I thought it was a little early in the race to be doing that, but, you know, I'll see it on TV and I'll make a judgment then. But, you know, the DuPont 24 truck was looking pretty good there. We got it around for qualifying, but it's just no sense in starting a race at this way, that early in.
Okay, tough break for you, Scott. Heartbreak for Scott Lagasse here in New Jersey.
It really is. It was his best start, and turns out to be his worst finish of the year. And Glenn, you're right. I think his road racing experience served him well in carrying momentum on this racetrack, not trying to overpower the racetrack in qualifying. He had a great lap.
Well, also, you know, Scott called me earlier this week, and he was talking about some of the things that have gone on during this year. And the conversation we had, he told me that, you know, we take a look at the top 10 here. He told me that, you know, I'm just going to try to take it easy, save the truck for the first half of the race, and it served him well in qualifying. You just can't get too aggressive on this place, and that's what he did. He had a good qualifying run. And like you said, he got up off the bottom just a little bit there, but Corelli took a look and decided to make his way through there.
We're going to go racing this time. Ron Hornaday stole the lead from pole sitter Joe Ruttman in the Mac Tools Ford number 84. Ernie Irvin is here working with that crew. And we're getting set for the restart. 10 laps complete. They'll run 75 laps and then take the 10-minute halftime break. Under green. Good jump for Hornaday. Toby Butler had a look under Steve Portengame midfield with that ortho truck, but nothing there. That was a great spot. Here they come back around. From Hornaday's lead truck, the Chevrolet looking back at Joe Ruttman's Ford, and he's putting a little distance on Ruttman, who now starts to close. Boy, look at the Spears truck right up against Joe Ruttman is Bill Sedgwick.
Sedgwick loves a place like this. He's a very smooth, very non-aggressive driver.
Oh, you said?
Like I said, he'll run over you if you give him a chance.
Deja vu all over again. Oh, and
wow.
Mike Chase.
That's Mike Chase.
Went into the wall hard on the front straightaway. And really killed the left front corner of the number 1 truck. I'm not sure what happened to Chase. Hit one of the Jersey barriers here on the inside of the front straightaway, but it's almost as if the truck turned straight left. And when he hit that barrier, the truck jumped in the air and knocked down the left front tire. There's the barrier he hit right at the bottom of your screen, and it did not move it. It was at that angle to start with. Doug, what is it about passing here that when you drop under somebody like that, as we'll see it here, either the truck coming down doesn't see him, doesn't give him room, or when you're used to racing at a place like this, how do you approach that situation differently, either truck?
Well, it's tough. I mean, you just can't bump here. I mean, that was just, I don't even know if they even hit, but he just got a little bit sideways, and that's it down here. The momentum just takes you around.
Now there is Chase.
You see Chase gets hit from behind. He's trying to control the truck. It's completely out of control now. Watch it as it goes to the inside, hits that barrier, goes airborne. He did a lot of damage to the left front of that truck, Mike. Got nudged from behind and just never could get the handle on it.
I think that was Bob Strait. There's Ernie Irvin. Talking it over. Here's another look at it. See if we see the contact here, Doug.
Yeah, he got a little bump there, and that's all it takes down here is just a little bump, and you're...
Now watch Ruttman save the truck. Watch him keep it off the wall here. He does a good job right here of spinning it around. Just misses the wall. The difference was he got tagged earlier back in the corner than Lagasse did. He had a little more room to save the truck.
They're going to pick up Mike Chase's truck, take it back to the pit area, see if they can make repairs on the diehard number 1. Second caution of the evening, folks. We'll be right back. Pace truck has the field coming out of turn number 4 as we're under the second caution of the night. Joe Ruttman, no damage on his truck as he spun down the front straightaway, just nicked the wall, took a little paint off the bumper cover. Ray Evernham is one of the drivers who used to run the modifieds here. Now, of course, he's Winston Cup crew chief for Jeff Gordon. And we asked him, as a former driver here, how would you set up a truck to run Flemington?
Again, I don't have a lot of experience with the trucks, but if I were going to take a Winston Cup car there, I would be prepared to make a car drive on the loose side again, which means when you turn it, that it turns. Flemington tends to be a tight, high-speed track. You're going to want stiff right side springs to keep the thing from falling over. You're going to need a stiff right rear spring to keep the thing turning. We used to run a lot off tire stagger with the modifieds to help them turn up off the corner. You don't have that luxury when you have a radial tire, so the guys are going to have to find some way of making that truck turn without having it loose getting in, because as I said, Flemington's very fast, and the last thing you want to be is loose getting into the corner there.
Doug, agree or disagree?
I disagree I agree with everything Ray said. The only thing I would have added to that is I'd have pulled all the gear out of the truck. Just take all the power away from the motor so you can just ride and ride and ride.
And Rick Corelli told me earlier today that he didn't feel like, there you see Ray Evernham's modified car that he ran here at Flemington, New Jersey. Hey, he won some races?
Yes, he did. He's a pretty good modified shoe.
Yeah, he was. Pretty good chief mechanic, too.
Yes,
crew chief. But anyway, what I was going to say, Corelli told me that you only use about 60% throttle here, that if you try to get in the gas all the way, it's so flat here, it just spins the tires, Doug.
Yeah, you don't ever get the thing flat out.
Randy? Check with Randy.
One of the reasons they put the styrofoam out there was because of a bad crash Ray had here. He took a real heavy crash coming off the 4th turn there, and that was one of the reasons they come out with that styrofoam idea.
Before we go to the restart, here's Randy.
You know, as we get ready to go green, I talked with a few drivers or a few crew chiefs about the sun. There's an awful big glare coming out of turn 4 here. It all depends on how much tape they have at the top of the windshield to reduce some of that glare. As far as Joe Ruttman's team, they said that was not the problem, but there could be some other guys wishing they had a little bit more tape on the top of that windshield.
Right there, you're driving straight into the sun as you come into turn number 4. 25 truck, Jack Sprague, is now in that Budweiser Chevy. Rick Hendrick truck, Dennis Conner, the crew chief. And there is Mike Skinner trying to chase him down. And the Dodge right behind of Dennis Setzer.
Yeah, this place was well suited to Dennis Setzer. He grew up on bull rings like this, and that Dodge truck has been strong everywhere they've gone. Setzer's going to give it a run tonight.
Looking back at that Ram front end of Setzer's Dodge. Running a little higher in the corner than is Mike Skinner's number 3.
I got behind Dennis in practice a couple times there, Mike, and he was a little bit about 2 grooves or 2 lanes higher on the racetrack than anybody out there. It seemed to be working well for him, though. He's having no trouble keeping up with Skinner, starting to put a little pressure on him.
Doug, will that free the truck up to run it a little higher here or no?
Actually, no. I usually free my car up by getting closer to the guardrail where nobody's actually put any rubber down yet, so maybe he's a little loose, and that's why he's up there.
Setzer in number 30, that's Brad's Dodge. As they try to run down the 25 of Jack Sprague. That would be the race for 4th place. There's Toby Butler in 7th.
Butler did get by Portengay right before that last caution.
And here's Joe Ruttman trying to come back. Ruttman takes to the inside underneath Michael Dawkins. picks his way up a spot and begins to move on Ken Allen.
Mikey's already back up to 13th place in the running order, so he's wasting no time getting back up front.
Ken Allen in the Onsat Chevrolet gives Ruttman racing room on the bottom, and the Mac Tools Ford moves up another notch. Dave Resendiz in that pack as well, and the Exide batteries number 7. Ooh, Ruttman had a real handful right there.
He got a little sideways. Mike, you see the Mac Tools sponsorship on the side of the truck there. We'll take this opportunity to congratulate Dale Jarrett. He and Mac Tools Ford won the Busch Grand National race today in Michigan.
He lapped all but the next 4 cars.
He was strong today. There you see Setzer really starting to put some pressure on Mike Skinner now.
Doug, it looks like Setzer is getting out of the corner and up high on the racetrack quicker than Skinner, who's letting his truck work up out of the bottom of the racetrack a little easier.
He might be binding his truck up a little bit by running down low there, but if he's got a good handle in the race truck, he's going to get by him.
All right, second place battle here. Rick Corelli looks to the inside of the 75 of Bill Sedgwick. Let's check with Randy.
Well, you know, you're talking about Mike Skinner. I just talked to Will Lynn before they dropped the green flag in this race. He's the GM of this truck operation for Richard Childress, and he said this is absolutely the worst we have run in any race this year. He said the only way we may get to the front, and we may, is if the weather happens to change this. But what he meant by that was the fact that when the sun starts to go down, they may have been so far out of shape that they get in shape, but they're not quite sure. It's the worst they qualified all year. Just could not get the handle to that good wrench machine, but they're going to work on it at halftime.
Now that's wishing and hoping. And you see now, the entire front straightaway is in the shadows right here down to turn number 1. The backstretch still in the sunlight.
Boy, Corelli is really working hard trying to get around Bill Sedgwick in the 75 truck. Watch Corelli hug it right down to the bottom, and when he turns the truck right here, watch him try to get under Sedgwick. He just doesn't have the ability to turn the truck enough and get in the gas to make that move on it.
Lapping past Jerry Glanville, the number 81.
Sometimes that's an adventure.
And a little bit more slow traffic. Now they're clear to run down the leader. 33 laps complete coming up on the first quarter mark of this 150 lapper. We'll be right back to New Jersey. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the Amoco Knoxville Nationals World of Outlaws Sprint Car Racing live here on TNN. And Steve Kinzer has to come through the C main and the B main to get in the show. It should be fun tonight. Now, here at Flemington, New Jersey, we're under the third caution of the night.
Mike, the caution was for Butch Miller there. He's got a flat left rear tire. He stopped the truck coming off the second turn over there, right against the guardrail on the bottom, brought out the caution. Now he's got it going again, but you can see the left rear tire there. Boy, that's a tough break for Butch. He's third place in the points.
Question will be if Miller went a lap down, if the 98 truck went a lap down when he spun. So Randy Pemberton's there as Miller comes to pit lane.
Absolutely peeled away the left rear. They're going to take about 5 guys to help lift this thing up. No jack as we see it. Oh, okay, there it is in the back of the truck. I was going to say, I don't see that too often, but there it is. New skin going on the left side, right underneath the Revestis sign, the sponsor on Butch Miller's automobile. Not a problem. Changing down the way. They're going to lose the lap. Yes, he did.
Down at least 1 and perhaps 2 laps now.
I think by my count, Mike, he lost 2 laps. I think he lost a lap on the racetrack because he sat over there for a while till the caution came out.
Now, while we were away, there was a change at second position. Ron Hornaday had been working and working on Bill Sedgwick's number 75, and finally he got some race room.
Well, looks like he set him up just right, Doug. He finally got the thing slowed down enough to make that turn off the corner there.
I'll tell you, it looks like he's got a good working truck.
I think right now that Corelli has the fastest truck on the racetrack. Before that caution came out for Butch Miller, Corelli was working through traffic and gaining steadily on Ron Hornaday. I think Hornaday's going to have his hands full when this thing goes back to green.
Rick Corelli looking for his first win of the season. He finished third at Tucson and at Indianapolis. Third caution of the night. And Ron Hornaday has now led 700 laps this season. Now there's the 38 track of Sammy Swindell. Has just gone 1 down. How did Sammy spend the day preparing for tonight's SuperTruck race? This just in. There's Sammy at Knoxville, Iowa. They've been racing out there all week for one of the richest prizes and most prestigious victories in all of sprint car racing, the Knoxville Nationals. And you'll see the finale tonight live on TNN. The instant this race is over, Sammy gets in a helicopter, heads for a private jet, goes right back to Knoxville, and at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll see him strapped into his Sprinter. Back to green at 43 laps.
Good restart by Ron Hornaday there. He gained 2 or 3 truck rings on Corelli, but I don't think Corelli's going to have any trouble chasing him down, guys.
Oh, 3 wide, Toby Butler there with Dennis Setzer. They do sort it out. Here comes Sedgwick, who did not get that great a restart. And John Nemechek, who spun all by himself but did not bring out the caution while we were in commercial.
Nemechek spun while battling Joe Ruttman for the 10th spot. Ruttman has moved back to 10th. He's got flat spotted tires, though, and he can't change those until the halfway break.
NASCAR's rule is the tire must be losing air for you to be allowed to change it. Oh, boy, Nemechek.
Wow, what a miss.
Yeah, but not nearly as bad as it would have been if he run into a steel retaining wall. This one will bring out the caution. John Nemechek, the younger of the racing brothers from Lakeland, Florida, in the Delco Remy, number 87. Ending up with perhaps repairable damage. You see, he's able to continue. Not going to get a lot of air on that rear spoiler. And the styrofoam blocks do their job.
Man, that makes me just want to go out there and like crunch this stuff up, you know. You see it flying everywhere, you want to break pieces off.
I've seen you drive, and you would.
I'm talking about with my hands.
I know.
Watch Nemechek get way up out of the groove. The back end came around. Pow! It's snowing in August in New Jersey. But you're right, not near as much damage to the truck.
Oh, no.
And he hit the metal guardrail there.
I'll tell you, on a Saturday night, some nights it does look like it's snowing with the lights out and all the styrofoam flying. It's something to see.
And Nemechek, instead of being on the hook and perhaps headed for the meat wagon, he's able to drive into the pits and get that truck, hopefully, repaired. We're under caution at 47 laps. We'll be right back to Flemington, New Jersey on TNN after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Stevens Beil Genuine Car Parts 150 on TNN is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
13 trucks on the lead lap at Flemington, New Jersey. Hornaday the leader, Corelli, Sedgwick, Sprague, Skinner, Setzer, Butler, Fortengay, Ruttman, and Bliss the top 10. Next lap will be racing. The other nice thing about those styrofoam blocks is they clean up very quickly. We're ready to go back to racing. John Nemechek, though, has parked his truck. From Ron Hornaday.
That was fast. I was impressed with how quickly they replaced the styrofoam that was broken, got the other one in place, and blew those little snowflakes right off the track. They're ready to go racing again.
A lot faster than you can fix that truck.
Oh, believe me, Glenn, they get a lot of practice on a Saturday night. Tear that stuff up on a regular basis.
That's right.
What does that styrofoam feel like when you hit it, Dan?
It does help some. You know, when you hit that hard, it doesn't feel like it helped, but it really does. When you bring the car back in the pits, you can see that it's not as much damage if it wasn't there.
Talking about cost-effective racing, that helps. We are under green once again. 51 laps complete. Hornaday, the leader, dispenses with Swindell. He got a much better restart than Rick Corelli.
Yeah, Corelli stuck with the lap traffic. Now you see Sammy Swindell on the inside of him there, and that's where Rick wants to be, is right on the bottom of the track.
There's Sedgwick trying to edge and tiptoe right around Swindell, and does so. Ruttman trying to move up on the outside in that red number 84 Ford. Dennis Setzer in the red number 30 Dodge, moving against 37 Bob Strait, just ahead of Mike Skinner.
Well, you see Toby Butler now is under Dennis Setzer, trying to take that position away from him. As I said, the preferred line is on the inside, and that's what Butler has right now. That's a heck of a race going on right there. You see Mike Skinner on the outside of Bob Strait trying to keep Strait a lap down. Butler and Setzer side by side.
Bit of a squeeze there, but Setzer will use Straight's lap truck as a pick. find himself some clean racetrack right behind Dennis Setzer. Gnarly pack there. Bliss takes it way deep inside, trying to make it 3 wide. That did not work for the number 2 Ultra truck. Oh boy,
Portengate got into Butler.
And 65, Ken Allen gets hard into the nose of Steve Portengate's coffee critic, number 83.
Traffic backed up. You see some fluid on the track there left from Ken Allen's truck, too. When all that traffic bunched up there, Butler had to get out of the gas just a minute. And Portengate tried to make a move under it. You can see the right front there. That's when Ken Allen hit him. But Portengate just nudged Toby Butler and got them both out of shape. Portengate went up into the marbles, spun it around, and got whacked.
Doug, most of this racetrack's 80 feet wide, but oftentimes it's just not enough.
No, them guys did a good job of, that could have been a lot worse. Guys did a good job avoiding it.
Watch this now. You see Butler, he's up on the outside, having to slow down for straight. Boom. Portengate nudges him just a little bit. Now watch Butler go all the way to the top of the racetrack, but Portengate's the one that got the worst out of shape. There you see Joe Ruttman. Look at him take advantage of this. Mike Bliss just missed.
Did Ruttman get into the back of Portengate?
Possibly. I didn't see that. That's a good point, Mike. Well, you're good at this. Here we can see it. No, he's up. He was up behind Toby.
Yeah, he was too high.
Yeah, boy, he does a great job right here, or somebody does it for him.
Well, one of the problems here is if you lift real hard going into a turn, the truck will just loosen right up.
Yeah.
And again, that's where you're driving straight into the sun.
Look at the fluid glistening on the track there from Ken Allen's truck. Portengate was able to continue, but as you see now, he is coming down pit road.
Want to go for the restart.
That had to have done some damage to Steve Portengate's coffee critic truck there.
57 laps complete. There's your top 10 as we line up for the restart.
As close as Butler came to disaster there, he only dropped 2 spots, so really wasn't that bad.
Portengate gets back onto the racetrack without losing a lap.
Yeah, he just came in and had the guys check the truck over, make sure that nothing was against that right front tire there, but looks like it was a pretty clean tear.
And John Nemechek has completed repairs. He is back in the race in the Delco Remy number 87. There is the OnSat number 65 of Ken Allen. Punctured radiator will take him out of the race, at least for now. From Ron Hornaday, looking back at second place, Rick Corelli. That wasn't a jump, it was a rocket launch.
I think that Corelli would like to have a monitor in there so he can see that coming. And once again, Corelli stuck on the outside of Sammy Swindell. Swindell still the first truck that he's 1 lap down. He clears him as they get into 3, as does Bill Sedgwick. Looks like Sammy was letting him go by there.
I don't know what kind of second gear Hornaday's got in that truck, but it's a stump puller. That was an Earnhardt-looking kind of restart, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's got to be a good feeling to know that when you restart, you're going to get yourself a 4 to 5 truck lead advantage every time. I don't think there's anything Pirelli can do with it, whether he anticipates it or not.
Look at the glare on the windshield of Mike Skinner as you come down the straightaway between turns 3 and 4. Working around Bob Strait once again. The Target expediting 37.
Now, through no fault of his, Bob Strait was the guy that backed everybody up a while ago. He was down on the inside, giving them plenty of room to work. He just backed traffic up, and that's what happened in that last accident when Portengate got into Toby Butler.
Good run for Mike Bliss in Jimmy Smith's Ultra Wheels number 2. That purple and white truck coming hard right behind Skinner.
Bliss was another of those guys along with Ruttman that took advantage of that wreck, drove right through it, didn't touch a thing, moved himself up a couple of notches in the rundown.
That's Bliss right behind Skinner. Meanwhile, up front, Corelli is right on the back bumper of Ron Hornaday, your leader. He's closed it right back up and erased all that advantage from the restart.
Look how well Pirelli's truck works down low. That's got to be a big advantage, Doug.
I'll tell you, I've been watching Ron, and he keeps getting higher and higher going through 3 and 4. To me, that's a sign that the truck's starting to get loose, and there's not going to be a whole lot he can do to stop Rick from going by.
12 laps to halftime. Here's your lead battle. The Papa John Chevy and the Total Petroleum Chevy. Pirelli takes it up high. Continues to look on the high side of Hornaday this time.
I think Pirelli's messing with him there. I think he just wants to think he can take him up there. Now watch him look at him down low again.
That's about as low as you can go. about scraping the paint off the guardrail on the inside of the corners. And you saw that time, Hornaday did not sweep the truck to the outside between 1 and 2, but kept it down to protect that low groove. He knows where that challenge is coming from.
Yeah, I imagine he's got a spotter in his ear telling him, hey, Corelli is strong down low. You got to keep it down.
And here comes Sedgwick in the 75.
Ooh, there's the move on the outside.
10 laps to halftime.
It's great racing here. I know that Corelli's truck is a little bit faster right now, but it's not fast enough to go ahead and make that move. He's laying back just a little bit now. I think he'll close up the gap here very shortly and try another move on him, but he might be sitting there thinking that we got halftime coming up. Let's just ride this out so we can adjust the truck just a little more at the halftime break. Then I'll see what I got for him in the second half.
Let's go back a little further. Toby Butler in the Ortho number 21 Ford. Dennis Setzer in the Taylor Toggs Dodge number 30. They've been battling back and forth and we're side by side a lap ago as they close in on Sammy Swindell. Dave Resendiz is right up there as well in the number 7, the Exide Ford.
Butler having a little trouble putting a lap on Sammy Swindell. I hope he doesn't get impatient here. Just a few laps left in the halfway mark.
And that may just be it, Glenn. 6 laps, and they'll take a halftime break. Then they'll reline back up, lap trucks to the inside. We're coming up on halftime here in about 5 laps. With a dozen or so trucks on the lead lap as the sun sets in Flemington, New Jersey.
You see Butch Miller has pulled up behind Dennis Setzer there. Butch in the number 98 truck just coming into your picture right there. He is 2 laps down. He did lose 2 laps. That has been confirmed when he had the flat tire over there.
Touch and go there. Back at 9th place. And back up front. Traffic is the only thing that has kept Rick Corelli from chewing away at the bumper of Ron Hornaday Jr.
Corelli would like to have that $1,000 bonus for leading at halfway. He hasn't had one of those this year. I know that's got to be his mind. Look at the smoke coming off his Portier there. Looks like the brake was dragging a little bit.
Yeah, he's just trying to hang on to halfway. He is was the last truck on the lead lap. He's now 1 lap down. Doug, if you're Rick Corelli right now in 2nd place, what can you do with that truck?
Well, I would keep working the bottom if I was him. I'd stay right on him, stay brutal, but like Glenn said, what's the point? You know, they got the other half of the race to run, so no sense in getting in trouble. But if my truck was a little bit better, I'd like to scrap my stuff right now.
Well, the point is that $1,000, and he's going for it. Not that time.
Good job by Corelli getting out of that thing.
Uh-oh.
Glanville.
The coach. No caution. He's cautioned now. He's driving it away. Caution at lap 74. Make that at lap 75. So we'll check with the NASCAR officials, but it's to see whether or not they paid out that halfway bonus money at lap 75, because we are halfway.
Yeah, I think they're going to go ahead and count that as a run to halfway, Mike.
It's we'll get a ruling on that as Jerry Glanville tries to restart his Ford. Doug Rickert, crew chief for Ron Hornaday Jr., calling the shots as they will come to pit road for the halftime break next time by.
You see the red flag waving there.
So it's halftime here at Flemington, New Jersey. Kind of
Mike, during that interview that Randy did with Rick Corelli told us that the truck was a little pushy, and he was the only one that was able to stay as low on the racetrack as he could. I'm going to be interested to see, looking forward to see if they can improve that truck. If he can get that thing to turn down just a little better, I don't think Hornaday or anybody's got anything for that truck. He was fast.
Doug Hoffman, a little pushier isn't a bad thing, is it?
No, not here. If you're loose, you got to hang on. It really tires you out. I'd rather have a tight truck than a loose one.
On the gas, on new tires, on the green. And Hornaday gets a big break by putting the lap truck of Portengay between himself and Rick Corelli. 3 wide back in the field, turn 3, but it all shorts out. Back under green.
Well, update you on that bonus for the $1,000 for the halfway leader. Since the caution fell at the halfway point. They're going to run 5 green laps. The guy that leads the 5th green lap will be the winner of that $1,000 bonus. Hornaday looks like he's got it in the bag right now.
All right, now Randy, during the break, they had the left side up in the air on Skinner's truck and the hood up. What did they do?
Well, that's exactly right, Mike. What they did was they added a half of rubber to the left front spring, and what that's going to do is try and loosen them up a little bit somewhat, but they don't want them to get too loose getting in. That's what they're concerned about. They're hoping that it's going to correct the problem just a little bit. Seems like he's getting around just a little better than he was before, but we'll have to wait here. This race stretches out a few laps.
Skinner has 6 wins. That leads the league. Furthest back he started to win was Phoenix, 16th. Came up front to win it.
Look at Skinner there working through traffic, looking out his front windshield. You still see just a little bit of a glare from the sun as they enter turn 3 over there. After that, it's okay. The rest of the racetrack, the whole front stretch, starting on turn 4, is in the shadow. So they move out in the sun when they go on the back stretch. You see the difference in the light out the front glass of Skinner's truck there.
Mike Skinner has led 9 of the 13 races so far this year. He has not led tonight.
You know, if you make, I guess, Doug, even if you make a little bit of improvement on your vehicle on this racetrack, it still has to be pretty significant moving through the racetrack to get by those other trucks. I mean, a little bit of improvement won't help. You got to have a major break to get under the guy.
Yeah, you gotta be going better to get by that guy, and it's showing now.
Well, if you had to pick, would you rather be better getting into the corner or coming off the corner here? Which is hard to say since it's all corner.
It's all corner, so if you're good, you got to be good on crash up in 3 and 4.
Important game.
Hard into the blocks this time.
He has impaled that styrofoam on the right front fender.
They can make a lot of coffee cups out of that now.
That is amazing, though. As hard as he hit, he just cranks it up, drives it away.
Out of Ukiah, California, brings out the 7th caution here at lap 81. Let's take a look at it here. And look, he's getting lapped, and Bill Sedgwick gets into the side of him and sends him spinning. And remember, Portengay, watch this. Boom. Major snowstorm. Need some coffee in a snowstorm like that. But Portengay was the first truck that was 1 lap down. Trying to let that lead traffic get by him. He held Sedgwick up just a little bit, and Bill got a nose under him, and they got together. I'd like, after the break, I'd like to see him hit that styrofoam again, and I hope every short track promoter in America is watching. 94 Southwest Tour champion into the fence, Portengay. We'll be right back. To Opryland to join the TNN Salute to Motorsports, August 24th through September 4th. Driver appearances, merchandise exhibits all throughout the theme park. For information, call Monday through Friday, 615-889-6611. Let's show you this one more time, folks. If you race at a short track or if you happen to promote a short track, these styrofoam walls, they do their job.
Once again, you see Sedgwick get into Portengay. Now, Portengay's a lap down. Sedgwick decided it was time to go. The lead guys were getting away from him, and he put his nose under him and got into Steve. Sedgwick lost a couple positions because of that, but you know, we talked about Portengay. It's too bad that happened, but he's a front runner. He came out, he's a Southwest Tour defending champ. He's used to running up front, but when you're a lap down, hey, you've got to give those guys room. They're not going to wait on you to get out of the way.
Well, they feel a little more styrofoam, and Deason's off with a coffee critic number 83. The Tanos family, who owns that truck, also sponsors it. And so Portengay trying to show well. He was also Rookie of the Year in '92 in the Southwest Tour, as well as being the defending champion. Up in the corner, you'll see Ron Hornaday's footwork as we go back to green here at lap 85. Modulating the pedal there. Did a little, looks like just a little tap of the brake occasionally to set the truck. Yeah, he's not using it a little bit. So Hornaday again quick with the restart.
Well, whatever he's doing there, he's doing it well because he's pulling away from the field again. The adjustment they made at halftime looked to be the best fix that anybody gave their trucks. Let's go down to Randy. He's got something to add.
Not a whole lot, Glenn. A couple of pounds of air pressure and a couple of tires and about a half a round of wedge. That's what Doug Reicher told me. So that's about it. The thing's grooving real good right now. They had a little problem with tire wear on the inside of the right front. They think it might be a camber problem, but right now he seems to be okay.
Yeah, you see Pirelli starting to sneak into the picture there just a little bit. Once again, things get sorted out. Pirelli has open racetrack. He starts closing the gap.
And on a long run, I like the way Pirelli's truck has been working.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference. We saw that toward the end. Doug pointed out that, you know, it looks like Hornaday's tires were giving up a little bit there. He started to move up a little on the racetrack at the end of the long green flag run.
Now, you see that traffic. How can you have one leader and one lead change? It's easy. Hornaday has led every lap, but he did not start on the pole, so that counts, if you will, as a lead change, taking the lead away from pole sitter Joe Ruttman. Facts are facts, man.
Just the facts, man.
Ron Hornaday in the Papa John's Pizza Chevrolet, leading the Total Petroleum Chevrolet of Rick Pirelli. Hornaday has been to victory lane 4 times: Tucson, Bakersfield, Monroe, and Topeka. Pirelli looking for his first win. Mike Bliss on the outside of Sammy Swindell, and Joe Ruttman on the comeback from that early spin, right behind Bliss.
He's battling Mike Bliss for 5th place right now, Mike. That's an amazing comeback. Of course, he's got fresh rubber on the truck right now, and if he can get clear of Bliss, then I think he can run the next group down.
But Bliss is having perhaps his best race of the series so far. But for the third at Bakersfield, this could well be Mike Bliss's best day this year.
Sammy Swindell acting as kind of a pit down there. You see he's a lap truck. Look at Cedric. I told you he lost a few positions when he got together with Fortingay. Now he's stuck behind these trucks that he was clearly ahead of a while ago. That little incident cost him more than anybody.
Back up front, Pirelli was right there. He was nestled right up against the bumper, not touching, but right there with Ron Hornaday.
I'll tell you, I think he's got the better truck, and like he said at the break there, he was having trouble making a pass, but once he makes that pass, he's going to pull away.
Tell me, Doug, when a guy's running that close to you here, is it hard not to watch the mirror to see what he's going to do?
I hate that. That's the worst pressure at this racetrack, is when you look in the mirror and it's full of race cars, it just gets on your nerves. It's tough.
And hopefully that's one. Look, there he goes.
Whoa!
Boy, that's a great shot from the in-truck camera right there.
Trouble, turn 3. One truck is hard in the wall. Gary Teague.
I bet you that he would tell us right now that styrofoam is not so solid.
Teague and the Jim Rosenblum truck trying to come back after a hard crash at Topeka. This is his first race back, and you see the back of that truck is used up.
And I think what happened with him, and it looks to me like he backed directly into the wall.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. The back of the truck went directly into the wall.
97 laps complete. We're well into the second half of racing here at Flemington, New Jersey. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. It'll be the clay flying, not the styrofoam, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You won't want to miss the World of Outlaws live on TNN. The Amoco Knoxville Nationals comes your way at 10 o'clock tonight. Be sure to tune in for some great sprint car racing action live from TNN Motorsports, of course. Let's go to pit road and Randy.
Well, Rick Corelli's crew chief Joe Garone. What about it? It seemed like when we got close to halftime, you closed in on them, you had them covered. Right now with new tires, not quite there, but the truck's good. Can you take them tonight?
Actually, I think we can if we get a long run. We have the truck set up to where it needs some laps. The more laps we get, the faster we get. So it's going to be interesting to see how the end of the race turns out.
So no complaints from him?
No, he's happy right now. This is a real tough racetrack to pass on, so we got to be careful.
Okay, good luck.
If I had that truck, I'd be happy, and I would agree with that assessment that if Pirelli can find a way underneath or around, he could step away.
I think he just needs to roll into the turn, let the truck get a little bit high, and use an old dirt boot, cross underneath, take him going down the back stretch or the front stretch.
The main thing he needs now is long green flag runs. We haven't had that very often. We've already had 8 cautions for 40 laps of the 101 that we've run.
And this time on the restart, Hornaday gets about a car length, and again, Pirelli will will have to get around Sammy Swindell. Does so. But he's going to bring along Jack Sprague in the number 25, who is the third-place truck.
Boy, Sprague has just kind of sneaked up on everybody. A good, strong run in that Rick Hendrick-owned truck.
That's a new ride for Jack Sprague in the Bud 25. Giving it a ride. In the wall, number 64. Goes in hard. Michael Dokken was in 9th place. 10th place, rather. He was on the lead lap. But he has shortened up the already short bed of that Chevrolet and knocked down the left rear tire.
Yeah, he's seriously damaged the payload capacity there.
Tried to stay on the lead lap and, as you see, was unsuccessful. So Dokken will make it around to the pits. Hopefully no great amount of damage. Of course, he'll have not much spoiler on the back of that Chevy. Could have some interesting handling. Well,
you see him already sideways there, Mike. Watch how hard he hits this barrier. He just then hit the brakes, and the wall really did some work on that truck. Styrofoam or not, that was going to do some damage as fast as he was going when he hit that thing.
But I'm really impressed, not so much with the amount of styrofoam we've used up, but at the amount of damage that it has prevented. Well, let's go down to the pits of the lead truck. That's Ron Hornaday Jr.'s.
Well, we'll talk to his crew chief, Doug Reichert. What do you think? When we got close to halftime, he was having trouble holding off Corelli on fresh tires. It looks like you don't have a problem doing that. What about as this race wears on?
Well, Rick Corelli is...
And that's where Hornaday is right now. Just waved the green once again here, the Stevens Beil Genuine Parts 150. And just like the last restart, Hornaday's number 16 took off. Corelli's number 6 had to work around Sammy Swindell. And now they shuffle out single file, and Corelli closes back in again.
Yeah, Corelli got the best restart that he's had so far this evening, Mike. So a big battle back there. I saw Mike Bliss, his number 2 truck. He's running 5th. And behind him, Joe Ruppin running 6th. Butler, look at all these guys. We got
John Kinder spins at turn 1. No caution, no contact. Gets a gear.
Get going, John.
Come on, John. And gets going. Will stay green. 40 laps to go.
Guys, the old number 3 truck. Whoa, we got more trouble up there.
Between 1 and 2, Butch Miller and the 30 of Dennis Setzer. The Ford and the Dodge get together, and this will be a caution. Not quite sure how that started. First thing I saw was Butch Miller sideways. And there's the damage on the Dodge. Dennis Setzer, that's the Active Trucking on the back. Of course, they run the trucking company here in New Jersey and a Winston Cup team as well.
Setzer was running in 9th place, so it's kind of costly for him. He's been in the top 10 all night in that Dodge truck. Let's take another look at it. That's the Ortho truck with Toby Butler going around Bob Strait.
Yeah, Butch just loses it.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, the back end got out from under him. Boy, Butler barely gets by there. Well, watch Setzer. He comes in with nowhere to go. Boom.
Oh, and right into the rear end, the left rear wheel of Butch Miller. Let's check with Randy.
I don't know if we've gotten a good shot of it yet. Up there in turns 1 and 2, maybe just around 1, there is some oil. I've seen a lot of crew chiefs talking about it, so I mean, they're all trying to get to these NASCAR officials to go out and at least check that position out in turn 1 as these cars go under caution into turn.
The Nation of NASCAR. For more information, call Monday through Friday, 615-889-6611. Randy?
Well, there's the damage to the Dodge of Dennis Setzer. Dennis, what happened out there?
Well, just unfortunate thing for the ATS recycling Dodge there. Butch Miller went off in the corner, got a little loose, come up in front of us, not committed to go high. Just one of those things.
Okay, better luck next time.
Thanks.
Another restart. Same story. Hornaday gets away. Corelli has to work around the 38 of Sammy Swindell. And that is not any problem with Swindell. He started on the inside of the front row as the first truck 1 lap down. And it's just a matter of Hornaday setting the pace as the leader, getting a good jump on the restart, and then Corelli having to work his way by as number 25, Jack Sprague, is doing right now.
Mike, in defense of Butch Miller there on that spin, looked like he was all by himself. There was oil on the racetrack. Somebody had dropped a little stream of oil. Looked like Butch got in it and cleaned up through, took care of it before we went back to green.
Well, let's see if we can get a long run here. That's the one thing that Ron Hornaday probably does not want to see, and the one thing Rick Corelli needs.
Absolutely. This is working in Hornaday's favor right now. As Doug Richard told you, the truck still got a little bit of push to it. That push doesn't really show up until after about a 15-20 lap green flag run. They haven't had that in the whole second half. Therefore, he's been able to hold Corelli off.
And Mike Skinner is coming. He got underneath Jack Sprague for third place. Gave him a little wake-up tap. Sprague gave him a little room on the bottom, and Skinner went by.
Now Skinner is about, you can see him putting distance already on Sprague, about 4 or 5 truck lengths, but he is almost a full straightaway or a full turn. How do you say it here, Doug? Behind those 2 lead trucks.
I'll tell you, those guys are starting to get away, though.
30 laps to go next time by. Ruttman making the move underneath Mike Bliss. They have been battling. And he may take Sedgwick with him.
He just got Bliss up out of the groove, and once you get out of the groove here, boy, they'll pass you by like you're sitting still. Bliss stays up there, Sedgwick will get him. There he goes.
Doug, is there a lot of nerfing to pass here from the inside?
Not really. Usually when you nerf, it's trouble for both of you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, these 2 leaders look like they've figured this place out. They're pulling away.
Watching Sedgwick and Mike Bliss there, and Joe Ruttman, the Brady for the Mac Tools for, working around Swindell.
Ruttman has moved back into the top 5, but I think that Sedgwick's got something for him. In fact, we're back up front now. I started to say, though, I think Sedgwick's got something for everybody, but he's got a lot of traffic to go through.
He also had to come from the back. There's a look at your top 5. And for most of the race, it's looked just like this. Rick Corelli edging up on the rear bumper of Ron Hornaday, but unable to make the move inside. Corelli looking for his first win of the series. Though he did win in the spring training races at Tucson, you saw live on TNN to debut the SuperTrucks on national TV. Ron Hornaday with 4 victories.
You know, and I think if this game comes down to the guy that's the hungriest, as much as Hornaday likes to win, I think it's Corelli, though. He is so frustrated this year. He's used to winning. He has not won, but that one time in Tucson in this series, not in the regular season, he wants to win really, really badly.
And Sedgwick has passed Joe Ruttman. As we said, Bill Sedgwick has gotten past Ruttman. So that changes 4th place. Here goes Corelli. He's got the room.
Big move. Great move.
Power move. Here comes Hornaday back to the inside. And Corelli shuts him down.
I think Corelli will check out now. I think he'll just absolutely drive away from Hornaday. Let's see how wrong I might be.
Doug, it looks like everybody has moved down the racetrack and everybody's running a lower groove than at the start of the race.
Well, there's not as much rubber down there, so the track probably feels a little bit better. I imagine the groove by now is getting pretty slippery.
Saw Corelli. He's working the wheel. He's not just throttle steering that truck. He's really working the wheel.
I think he's got it figured out, though. He looks good.
You know, from Corelli's standpoint, though, if I had just passed the guy from the lead and still pressuring me, I would want that guy to be Ron Hornaday because he will not run into you. He will not get into you. Hornaday, one of the cleanest guys out there. He won't give Corelli any trouble unless it's purely accidental.
All right, let's show you the lineup and positioning of the top 5 around this square 5/8 mile oval. Here are your 2 leaders, Corelli and Hornaday, and here is 3rd place Mike Skinner coming up, and back to the number 25 of Jack Sprague. So not a whole lot of distance separating the front runners.
Skinner has actually closed a little ground when Corelli and Hornaday were battling for the lead. Mike Skinner edged up just a little bit on him. He's closed that gap about 10 to 15 truck lengths. Randy?
Let's check with Randy.
No doubt about it, Glenn. They've got the watch on them down here in the children's pit. They got a smile on. I don't know if they have enough laps to do it. 19, but he's definitely coming. They're snapping the watch. He's closing in. Does he have enough time? We'll have to wait and see. He's been tough all year.
I don't think so. 19 laps?
I don't know. I think he's going to run out of time. If it stays green, he's going to run out of time.
Catching him is one thing, passing him is entirely another.
Especially when you're looking for your first win. Well, the gap is stabilized first to second. Rick Corelli's Total Petroleum Chevy and the Papa John's Pizza Chevy.
That push is starting to show up in Hornaday's truck. Corelli appears to be just a little quicker in the short shoe there. When he gets right back in the gas, his truck turns and accelerates just a little bit quicker than Hornaday's does. There you see Skinner steadily on the move. Running good lap times now, but I just don't think he's got the time to pass it.
Mike Skinner, the point leader, looking for his 12th top 5 finish in 14 races.
Every time he has been in the top 10 this year, it has been a top 5 finish. He has had a phenomenal year.
16 to go. Don't forget, tonight, 10 p.m. East Coast time, the Knoxville National. World of Outlaw Sprint Car Racing. You'll love it. There's your interval, first to second. Now it's go back to battle for fifth, where Sedgwick in 75 is pulling down on Jack Sprague. The lap truck there is Frank Davis in the 0. This is fourth place. Mike Bliss is back in 6th, and Joe Ruttman 7th. Toby Butler 8th, Dave Resendiz 9th.
You know, Mike, I looked inside of Sedgwick's truck there. He's got the darkened full-face visor on. Everything was in bright sunshine when we started. The whole track's in the shade now. I wonder if it's any kind of visibility problem. Why don't he flip it up?
He's probably too busy.
Never too busy to see.
Okay.
That's one thing about this racetrack. It demands your attention all the way around. You don't get a break. There's no straightaways to just relax and just run down the straightaway.
4 straightaways and 4 corners. Here's the battle for 4th place. Jack Sprague having a very impressive debut in the Rick Hendrick Budweiser number 25. To the outside as they lapped John Kinder. Bill Sedgwick had the room out there, but Sprague came up and took it away as they moved on the lap truck. Next time by, 10 laps to go. 4th place battle here. Sprague's best finish was 5th at Tucson. So that number 25 truck, Sprague, is looking for his best finish of the season. Also on the lead lap, Toby Butler. There's a look at 64, Michael Dockett, who was on the lead lap. He got back on track after that crash into the wall, into the styrofoam block wall. 4th place battle right there. And there's Ruttman behind Mike Bliss. Has been able to climb only to about 7th place. And Toby Butler trying to hold off the number 7 of Dave Resendiz. That is back at 8th place.
Yeah, they've been having a heck of a battle, Mike, for about the last 15 laps. In fact, 2 laps ago, Resendiz got into Butler, turned him a little sideways, but he backed off and let him straighten the truck up. Done good battles all the way around the track here, not just up front. You see the leaders coming up on him there to put him a lap down.
Yeah, and Resendiz, obeying the passing flag, is going to give Rick Corelli, the number 6, a bit of room. 7 laps to go. Now see if Resendiz can tack on to Corelli and follow him past Toby Butler, who has got to move over for Corelli.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. Great call there, Mike. That's exactly the move he's going to try to make. I don't know if Butler's going to let him get away with it or not.
He's got the room.
No, he just didn't have the momentum carrying on down into turn 1.
Ooh. Wow, boy. Quite a move by Hornaday. We all took a sit back in the seat on that one.
Oh, yeah, we got a truck in trouble on the backstretch.
Big spin by 70, is it 79?
Yeah, Jimmy Dick.
Yes.
And he spins around, keeps going, but the caution is out.
Caution with 5 laps to go. Jimmy Dick in the Universal Vans, number 79, out of El Paso, Texas. A dirt track sprint car ace running his 8th asphalt race ever tonight at Flemington. Says to say hi to the folks in Texas.
Ah, partners.
So that brings out the caution at lap 145. The rule in this series, you must run the last 2 laps under green.
Now, else does this bring into the equation? Truck number 3.
Give you a hint, it's the black truck, folks. 6-time winner Mike Skinner, there he is.
He's riding along thinking, man, I thought they'd never throw that caution. What took them so long?
That's not what Rick Corelli is thinking.
No. What? A caution for what? Now, when you're out there and you got a fast truck like Skinner's got, and you're slowly gaining on it, but you know you're running out of laps, you're hoping for a caution. You just hope that it's not you. Got what he wished for. We got as in Winston Cup racing, the last 10 laps, the restart is single file, so those 3 trucks will be up front.
All right, now, Doug, you've won nearly 400 modified features and 4 championships here. What does Rick Corelli have to do these last few laps?
I think he's got to protect the bottom groove. If anybody's going to pass him, make him go around the outside.
We had a barn burner at Denver when Mike Skinner came up on Butch Miller. Miller gave Skinner the bottom at Denver, who got underneath him, but Miller was able to hold him off got back around and held him off by inches at the line. It was very different. Now, next on TNN, you'll see Opry Backstage, followed by the Grand Ole Opry Live. So catch all your favorite country music stars right here next on TNN. And then at 10 p.m., live World of Outlaw sprint car racing from Knoxville, Iowa, the Nationals.
We're going to have green flag, white flag, checkered flag. Let's remember those great restarts that Ron Hornaday's been getting when he was leading. Can he do that again?
Now, Mike Skinner is waving. They have waved off the restart this time. So we'll run one more lap of caution. All right, you're Ron Hornaday, Doug. You're in the second place truck.
Well, if he's got enough confidence, he could roll right in on the outside and make that outside groove work. But I don't know.
That's a tall order.
But in doing that, does he jeopardize giving up second place, Doug? Because Skinner's going to be right behind him. Does he have to protect the bottom also to hang on to second?
Well, he's going to have he's got his hands full. Let me put it that way.
Well, remember what Doug Rickard said to Randy. Now, he's the crew chief for the car that you're riding with right now, Ron Hornaday. We're big picture racing. And the big picture is that right now, Ron Hornaday is 109 points behind Mike Skinner for the championship. So I think Hornaday in number 16 might be more concerned with the 3 truck than the 6.
And also those 5 points that he gets for finishing ahead of Skinner in the rundown. He's got to gain as many points every time as he can. If he can only get 5 tonight, that's what he's got to get.
Doug Rickard and Banjo Grimm up on the toolbox. And Randy's in the pit of Mike Skinner, but here we go. 2 laps. Green is out. Good restart for Corelli. No granny gear in that 6 truck.
All that speculation was for naught. They both done. Look at the move. Look at this. Wow, Hornaday just shot right up onto the rear tailgate of that car. And he's going under him. Something wrong with Corelli. He just didn't get down. He didn't protect the bottom.
They don't touch. Clean, hard knuckle racing. 1 lap to go. Hornaday up front.
Wow. I can't believe that.
No point racing here, folks. Or last chance. And you saw the 6 truck try the bottom. They made a little contact. Here comes Skinner. Checkered flag. Ron Hornaday to win it sideways. Whoa. Boy, they love their stock car racing here in New Jersey, and they gotta love SuperTruck racing. What a finish.
That is amazing. Ron Hornaday has got to be one of the smartest drivers in any form of racing right now. He saw a hole, he took advantage of it, and look what it did for him.
That was so good, we got to show it to you again, but first, we'll take this break. We'll be right back to Flemington after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Stevens Beil 150 on TNN is brought to you by Pep Boys Automotive Super Center.
Let's show it. That is not Sammy Swindell leaving to go to Knoxville, folks, but let's show it to you one more time. And Doug Hoffman, what happened here?
Well, I'll tell you, you can see Rick just let the truck slide up a little bit and just allowed him to get underneath you. I told you he needed to protect the bottom. Maybe he was a little loose. Maybe that's why he got a little high, but that's all it took.
Glenn Hornaday did just what he did on the initial start of the race. Jumped to the bottom and went.
Absolutely. Remember I said on those restarts, he's quick. He's right out of the chute. It's as fast as anybody. He saw just a little bit of a hole there. You see Corelli get back up on the outside of there. He had nothing for him on the outside. Then he's got to worry about Skinner coming up on the inside. But like Doug says, and they make a little contact there coming off before.
Doug Hoffman, thanks for joining us. You got a modified race to run. We'll let you out of here, but we're very glad to have you up here with us. And let's go to
thanks.
Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road, take you to victory lane. Here's Randy.
On top of that, this win is congratulations to the Chevy teams, it says, for winning the inaugural manufacturer's trophy for the series. But nonetheless, Ron Hornaday, a heck of a last couple laps. I know you needed that caution. You got it. You stuck it in there and won this race.
I really appreciate that. I'm sure glad we got to wrap this up for Chevrolet. They were pulling for Skinner and I to win this thing, and I thought we didn't have nothing for Corelli, and he ended up that yellow came out. He slipped up on that last corner there. It gave me enough just the way I did, when I slipped up. But I got to say thanks to Papa John's Chevrolet Action Collectibles. I mean, they're number one in diecast. And, get your tires. Look at these tires. I mean, we could have just ran forever on these tires. It's great.
Well, give us a blow-by-blow. How did you believe it when it opened up there and you could go inside them?
Well, I didn't believe the yellow flag, and I knew I was pretty good off yellows. Our truck was a little tight, chatted on the front tire, and every time I got off the gas, it snapped the rear loose with a locker. So when I seen that yellow, I said, oh, great, that's what we need. Let's get a couple laps under there and keep going. But I didn't think we had this one, and that yellow came out. He pushed up a little bit, hit that bump coming off of whatever corner that called. I think it's one big corner here. But, no, I just got to thank everybody, and to get back underneath them and get it for the green-white checkered, it's a great deal. And, Snap-on Tools. And, Craftsman's been a big part of this deal, and I keep forgetting to say them because they're big series sponsors of it. But Craftsman does a heck of a job to support this whole deal. And, NASCAR and the SuperTruck series. And, you guys come out here and do what you're doing. It's great. Appreciate it.
And, of course, you've got a couple of great car owners in Teresa and Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, Teresa and Dale Earnhardt, they're the greatest. I hope they're watching this. And hi, everybody. And I just got to say hi to the guys back at my shop. They do a great job keeping that going. I haven't been there for 6 months, but everything else, it's been great.
Let me weave over this way. Congratulations from Rick Corelli. Rick, we talked about you protecting the bottom. I know you wanted to protect the bottom. You were thinking about it. It didn't happen. What happened?
It didn't happen. I mean, my truck took about 3 laps to get going, and then it checked out. Other than that, it was just loose. We were just a little off on restarts, and that's one of the things. We had a restart there at the end, and Ronnie got a good run coming off there, got up underneath me, got me loose like I got him loose. I got sideways down low, and that's it. If we didn't have that yellow at the end, would have been good. I didn't mean to get him at the end, but I was just mad.
Congratulations on a good run for Rick Corelli as well. Mike Skinner.